What's going on, guys? Happy to be back. I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about apathy. I just posted a little reel, a little short on apathy, but I kind of want to dig into it a little bit more because 60 seconds ain't enough to really get the idea out, right? I want to talk about apathy because I had a very long journey out of apathy, and I still deal with apathy sometimes. I really do, but I'll come out of it, going on the other side of it. I know what it's like to experience the upper emotions, right? Courage, acceptance, peace, happiness, love, which apathy is a suppression of. So let's talk about apathy really, right? Apathy is really a numbness. It's a numbing out. It's a program that we learned as kids from our parents, from people around us, our peers, school, things like that, right? Where we didn't really learn how to have emotions, how to express how to express emotions, especially if you had a hard parent, right? If you had a parent who was pretty hard, let's say if you had a mom who was very masculine, things like that, and she wasn't nurturing, then we never really learned how to have expression. Or if you lived in a household where expression wasn't okay. Like as a kid, you're running around, you're having fun, you're loud, you're jumping off the couch, and then your parents come in there and say, you gotta pipe down, stop that, no jumping around, that kind of thing, but they just shut you down. And it happens over and over and over, till eventually you just mute yourself out, right? You have no expression, or when it comes to actually expressing, you have so much resistance to it. And as you get older, you just do more and more of the suppression, and it becomes a part of who you are. So apathy starts to become your baseline emotional state, right? You meet some people out in the world who are happy. They're always happy, no matter what. No matter if times are rough, they're still happy, they're still smiling, right? That's their baseline, emotional baseline. Apathetic people's emotional baseline is to numb out and to distract and to not deal with their emotions, to not feel their emotions. So we as apathetic people, we tend to block out everything, right? We block out joy, we block out pain, and these are the emotions that we need in order to get things done in life, right? We numb out and we let life just pass us by. Once you start to actually deal with the apathy, and I'm gonna teach you how really quickly, once you start to really deal with the apathy and face it, and face the emotions that are on the other side of it, you start to notice that your life gets dramatically better. Is it easy? No, it's not easy, because you're gonna be dealing with emotions that you haven't felt in years, decades even. Emotions that you've been suppressing, blocking out, and not having wanted to feel, such as grief, fear, lust, anger, for instance, right? Shame, guilt. These emotions right here that we tend to numb out really fast so that we don't have to experience them. But when we numb out the whole gamut of the emotional scale, right? I mean, we're blocking out love, we're blocking out peace, we're blocking out acceptance, we're blocking out just the little micro emotions, the little sub emotions under these little categories. And if you got an emotional scale, or if you don't, Google it. Google the emotional scale and look at the wide range of emotions that we as humans experience. Apathy is probably going to be like the bottom three emotions, right? One of the bottom three, right? There's shame, there's guilt. Apathy is also down there. Depression is also down there. Once you start to open up yourself to coming out of apathy, you're going to start experiencing a lot of emotions. In my case, when I came out of apathy, it was very hard to accept the upper emotions, right? It was very hard to accept peace, courage, acceptance. It was actually very hard to be happy, right? Part of me felt like when I was happy that I was being a phony, that I was being a fake. And I know where that came from. That definitely came from my household, right? Because when we saw happy people, we tend to judge them as being fake, they're not real. So whenever I was happy, I always found a way to shut it down because it felt very unauthentic. Sorry, I can't even say authentic. It felt very unauthentic to me. And working with Brian, of course, he taught me how to get out of apathy. Actually, he had me recognize apathy first, which is the first step out of apathy. The minute I started to recognize it, I started to see like, oh, I've been doing that all the time. It feels like actually a warm blanket to me. Apathy feels like a warm blanket. It feels like a blanket of security, a blanket of safety. Truthfully, it's not. It's actually the opposite, because your life is going to pass you by really fast and you're never going to do anything that you actually want to do. You're never actually going to be happy, right? You're going to constantly suppress, and you're never going to get what you want in life. And if you do, the happiness of whatever that is that you got is going to be very short-lived before you stuff all that stuff back down and go numbing out again. This affects your dating life in so many ways. We always talk about connection and emotion when we talk about connecting with women, right? If you don't have access to your emotions, if you don't have access to, especially the upper emotions, it's never going to work out in dating long term. Like, sure, maybe you'll have some success in approaching, but they'll never go anywhere long term. Relationships won't last if you're in apathy. I guarantee they will not last. So, how do you come out of apathy? What's the way out? Well, first is it's recognizing that you're in apathy in the first place, which is the hardest part, right? Being a fish in water, right? Does a fish even know what water is? Or is water just air to the fish, right? So if you're a person who's apathetic, maybe you might not even realize that you're in apathy. You may not even realize that you're numbing out, right? So how do you get past this place of not being aware of whether you're in apathy or not? Well, just look how you relate to your emotions. Look how you relate to your emotions. How often are you experiencing your emotions? How often are you experiencing happiness, fear, sadness, pride, being proud of yourself, lust, acceptance, peace? How often are you experiencing these emotions? And when you experience them, are they very short-lived, or do they last for a period of time? Do you bask in them a little bit, right? Because if you're experiencing them for a very short period of time, there's a good chance that you're numbing out. And if you're numbing out, the thing to do is this. This is how you really start to come out of apathy more permanently, is you have to allow yourself to experience these emotional states that you've been suppressing for a long time. You have to allow yourself to feel joy. You have to allow yourself to feel peace. You have to allow yourself to feel lust, pride, anger, even shame and guilt, right? Because these are all emotions on the scale. The suppression of them and stuffing them down so we don't feel them is our way of getting rid of them really fast. So if you allow yourself to feel them, if you allow yourself to experience them, they tend to move very quickly, especially the heavier ones. You'll start to notice yourself go up to those higher emotional states. Let's use fear, for instance. If you allow yourself to feel fear, if you allow yourself to experience fear, it may last 2 minutes, may last 3 minutes. It doesn't really last that long. If you find a way to not distract from them and just feel them, you'll notice that the fear would actually burn off and you move up the emotional scale. Maybe you move to pride, maybe you move to courage, right? This is what you want. Courage will actually get you everything that you want in life. So will peace and acceptance. So start to find out what's your baseline emotional state. Is it apathy? And if it is, what are you avoiding experiencing? What emotions are you avoiding experiencing? If you're in apathy, there's a good chance you probably have a lot of fear, right? So just kind of take inventory of what you might be avoiding feeling. Start to allow yourself to express and feel those emotions until they burn off and take you up the emotional scale. So remember, the goal is to change your emotional baseline. You want to go from a place of being apathetic and numbed out to a place of spending most of your time in acceptance, peace, courage, maybe even pride, maybe sometimes anger. When those become your baselines, you'll start to notice that your life dramatically changes. You start to get what you want in life. You start to make more money. You start to date more women. On average, you just start to feel more safe and secure, but not by being numbed out. Anyways, guys, pleasure shooting this video for you. Hop over to Facebook and join our private group if you have any more questions. We're going to be doing free Zoom calls. We're going to be answering anybody's questions about anything you guys have related to dating, apathy, the emotional scale, moving out of it, living a bigger life. So I'll put the link right in this video and hop on over. We'd love to have you guys over there. Anyways, also, if you haven't joined our Instagram, join our Instagram, High Integrity Dating. I got a lot of reels on there, a little bit longer than the ones that I post here. All right, guys, love you. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.